Sometimes it's more frustrating, but overall it's very much like explosive. You go hard, you have to also get your cardio going, and you just throw around the weights more or less. Welcome back to Fueling Your Life podcast, episode 8. Today we are going to talk about mixing training styles. So the most known training style is weightlifting, which is come from, of course, the bodybuilding scene, and that you have all the gyms where it's the most accessible and therefore well known way of training. But there's actually 3 training styles, as we can call them the main training styles, but there's of course others. So the main training styles are calisthenics, weightlifting, and CrossFit. Or at least what I define as the main training styles. Then you can also do Pilates, yoga, all that good stuff. But if you ask people what is the best training style, they will probably tell you that it's weightlifting if they are already doing weightlifting, and there is this combat between all the communities in each way of training. But as always, there's pros and cons for each training style. And today we're going to discuss why you should mix the training styles and what is the benefits. So starting off with calisthenics. So calisthenics is basically bodyweight exercises and got way more popular during the pandemic because all the gyms were closed. So people had to find other ways to train. Calisthenics is majority compound movements, as you're using, which basically means you are using multiple muscle groups to execute an exercise. But it also has a high entry level, as you have to be able to lift your body weight. You can do things that can make it a bit easier, but you have to be able to carry your body weight to really start doing calisthenics. There's of course some options where you can use resistance band. You can maybe do a bend dips instead of a normal dip, where you put your hands behind you and go up and down to make the exercise a little bit easier. But in calisthenics, you can either do progressive overload with a weight vest, or you can do it with progression for a skill. So progression for a skill, there will be smaller exercises that's breaking down a skill, and then it becomes harder until you can actually do the skill. And a skill is the human flag, is the muscle up, is the full planks, is the front lever, is the back lever, the LZ, the dragon flag, and all these movements you see. And that will also mostly be the movement you see on Instagram, YouTube, as they get the most eyeballs at it, because it looks so insane and whoa, and you never see any people do it. So the basic exercises are squats, pull-ups, dips, and push-ups. That's the core base of all the movements in calisthenics that you either have to go through in some regard. The pros and cons for calisthenics is that you can do it anywhere. It's inexpensive because you just have to show up to the park, find some bars. You can do it at home. Doesn't really matter. And most of it is also functional movement, so movement that you do in your day-to-day with push in your hands and as you move around. The cons is that it's difficult to progress, as you have to mainly progress through skills. Then it's also hard to start the entry level, as we discussed. is hard, and it's also harder to build muscle as you don't have this progressive overload, or it's at least harder to get. Then weightlifting is of course you lifting weights. You can either build your own home gym, or you can go to your local gym. This is a good option because you can isolate your muscles. It's also a low entry level, as you can go all the way down to 1 kilo, 2 kilos, so everyone can start. It's also easy to build muscle mass, as you can easier get the progressive overload as you just add more kilo to the bar. If you train for strength, you are actually training your absolute strength, which doesn't really translate as well. But in compared to calisthenics, then you're actually training your relative strength. So it's your relative strength to your body weight, and that will translate into weightlifting too. So you will become very strong when you get in. But the fundamental movement for weightlifting is deadlift, squats, bench press, and pull-ups. The pros and cons for weightlifting is the process. It's easy to progress. It's easier to build muscle. You can also improve your bone density as you're lifting the weights, so it's making your bones stronger. The cons is you of course have to pay for the membership. You need special equipment, and sometimes your gym even not even have the equipment needed, so you cannot do all the exercises, especially when you want to be very specific. And then it's also very bad for conditioning, so you don't get this cardio high movement as you are very stationary in a fixed position. Then CrossFit is a more high intensity interval training. It focuses on functional movements, combining both weights and body weight, and they focus more on your strength and conditioning. So you will be very explosive, you will go very hard, and just go. So you will both get your cardio up and move fast and move around. So you're not just standing still, you will lift heavy weights and just go. So it's very good to improve your endurance, increase your agility, and to get stronger at the same time. The cons are that it can be quite expensive for these type of gyms. It can also lack. There's probably not that many gyms you can find that is dedicated to CrossFit. It's depending on where you are. And you might also have to do it alone, which can also be a problem for some people. So the benefits of mixing your training style, which is also the way I do it. So you can balance out your physique and your performance way more. So by combining them all, you get the conditioning, you get more endurance, you will get the more muscle endurance, you will get stronger, you will build mass, and you will also get this more functional aspect into your training. So by doing this, you can actually, you will not get hugely big, but you will look very strong, you will have a great physique still, but you will be able to move, and you can move in all kinds of ways. You can put up pace, you can lift heavy stuff, and it also helps you very much just in your day-to-day to carry things. If, for example, just for the simple fact, if you're moving, that you can actually lift the moving boxes and you can just keep going back and forth. So it gives very much a functional practice in your day-to-day. And it can also help you to renew and reignite the motivation for training, as you constantly are doing something new. is balanced. It will also balance out the pros and cons for each training style. So the way I do it, in my case, so I started out doing the calisthenics because it was easy for me. I just wanted to do some push-up, and for me it also became quite boring to just stand there in the gym. But now I actually got more into the gym too. But I still like to work out outside, especially when it's summer. So what I'm actually doing is through 4 months of the year, I go to the gym, I lift weight, and I do a more athletic workout. So it's more some weeks are more explosive. Sometimes it's more stationary that you lift very heavy. Sometimes it's more for strength. But overall, it's very much like explosive. You go hard. You have to also get your cardio going, and you just throw around the weights more or less. And then when I get outside, then I'm outside for 8 months of the year, and I do more. I just do purely calisthenics. I mix in with a run more and more. I do more sprinting. I don't train as much legs because it's absolutely fucking terrible with calisthenics. But then I really also get my strength back. I get very strong, which then translate into weightlifting, where it's easier for me to lift up the weights. It's easier for me to perform the exercises as I'm way stronger. And when I'm in the gym, I can focus more on the smaller muscles. So that will be, for example, the lateral raises, the rear delt, the delta, all the shoulder muscles. I can focus more on my legs. They can get stronger. As usually in calisthenics, your upper body will get like way stronger than your lower body, as you can only do so many bodyweight squats. But you can there's all of course the progression to pistol squats, but it's just a matter of time before you cannot do that many. And when it also comes to glutes and hamstring, you don't really have that many options. And that's also people who are doing calisthenics. They also usually tend to go towards lifting weights just for the legs, because otherwise you will not get anything out of it. Some just don't do any legs at all, but people who take more the training seriously and want to actually get something out of the training do the hybrid version where they will do weightlifting for the legs and calisthenics for the upper body. And it's basically just how you can mix and match it. So a way you can do it throughout the year is that you take 3 months weightlifting. You may focus on building muscle mass, then you do 3 months of calisthenics where it's more strength focused, and then you take 3 months with CrossFit where you more focus on the conditioning of your body, so you get the cardio back up. And this way you also keep the adaptation and the stimulus different to your body, so you will not plateau, because that's a very common problem, that your body gets used to the workout you're doing, and then you basically just plateau. So you need a new stimulant to activate the muscle fiber and create a new adaptation. So by doing this, you constantly create a new adaptation too. And it becomes more fun because you're constantly doing something new. And it might also take you a while to get to this point, figure out how much you need of each. For me at least, it took some while because you want to try out different things. So I try a few kettlebell workouts. I've done weightlifting, upper lower split. I've done 3 times a week full body workout. I've done upper body, lower body. And I think a 4-week push pull. program too. Until I found this more like athletic program where I have running, basically all the adaptations, so strength, hypertrophy, aerobic, long endurance, anaerobic, power, speed, what's more? Yeah. But basically, it kind of balances out all of them, and then you I get in better shape. And usually during winter, my conditioning it goes down a bit, but then throughout the summer it gets way up again. So, regardless of what training style you choose or how you want to mix them, there are some certain rules that you have to follow in order to see progress. So first of all, you must determine what is your goal, because that will determine what style of training you should choose. Then you also have to determine how much time do you actually have to train. Is it 3 days a week, 5 days a week, 4 days a week, maybe 6 days a week? Is it 2 days a week? And how many minutes do you have per session? And this is very important because you want to be able to be consistent with your training. Because it cannot be that you say, okay, I want to train 3 days a week, 1 hour, but in reality you only have for 2 days 30 minutes. Then you will skip out 30 minutes of the workout and you will miss a day. So all the progression that you were expecting to see will not happen because you never got the workouts in. But so that's very important that you know. So always start a bit smaller. You don't need to work out for an hour or an hour and a half. You can get a very good workout in for just 30 minutes, just going all out. And just doing it 2 days a week is great. Just start small and build it up, because then it will be better for you. So your workout plan, especially if you're a beginner, should just consist of 3 to 5 exercises. You do 3 to 5 sets, 3 to 5 reps usually. But the reps part is more for strength. So if you are training for hypertrophy, you might go 6 to 12, and then for more muscle endurance, it's just everything above 12. When you are choosing your exercises, you might just want to focus on the compound movements. So there will be push-ups, pull-ups, squats, deadlift, dips, and those are exercises, because then you will cover your whole body, and it also helps you get quicker through a workout, as you're not isolating each muscle that you have. Then you will, over a 4 to 5 week period, you must make sure that you have progressive overload. Otherwise, you will not see any progress at all, or you will maybe see a little bit. But progressive overload is basically what makes our body adapt to our training. And the way we can create progressive overload is by adjusting the tempo, change the grip type, so you can go for a wide, for a normal grip, or for a close grip. You can change the weights, you can change the reps, you can change the bar modifications. So sometimes, for example, in a deadlift, you maybe want to go from a barbell to a hex bar. If you're training for muscle endurance, you might just want to increase the reps to bang out more reps in a row. But the main point is that each week you adjust only one thing, and try to, for all 4 or 5 weeks, go for the same adjustment. So if you are adjusting the weight, then do it for 4 or 5 weeks. So it's not that you first week adjust the weight and then in the second week you adjust the reps. Just the same adjustment every single week. So you go for maybe 2 kilo to 4 kilo to 6 kilo to 8 kilo to 10 kilo. And when the 4 or 5 weeks are over, then you want to have a deload week. Because when you get by the end of the week, your system is very stressed. It's very stressed out. Your nervous system is very stressed out because you have lifted very heavy. So you want a deload week for your body to reset, to relax. So in that you will want to just completely just go back on whatever adjustment that you have made. So for this, so you preferably go back to the second week, and then you pick the weight or the rep range from that week, and then that will be your deload week, and then you start building up again, and then you just continue doing that. So you build up, scale back, build up, and scale back. And then you do that for 3 months, and then you can maybe consider changing the training style as we discussed. So that's basically how it works for how you want to train, how you can mix the training styles a bit. And especially when it comes to performance, mixing the training style, get a little bit of hypertrophy, strength and conditioning can really help us perform way better, as we can endure way more, and every obstacles that comes in our way goes for any sport that you're playing, that you're able to run with heavier load, on that you can put more power. Because also the thing is that even though you have a lot of strength, you might just plateau in your strength because you're maxed out your the strength that you can have with your current muscle mass. So building a little bit more of mass can help you produce more force, but it will then also affect your speed as you become a bit heavier. So all these are consideration to take. But yeah, that was it for this time. I'm Coach Jesper, and I'm out.